think maybe they are overcovered a little bit. I mean, this discussion is going on and on and on in the public space, and somebody is turning gasoline on the fire constantly. Let's take it easy. Maybe I say that because I'm European, where we are not used to have the religion in the public space like that. You know, religion is one thing, and discussions about politics or new roads or football is another thing. So basically, religion should be on its own platform somewhere, and suddenly we have it in the public space, and for my liking, much too much. And I cannot say it's undercovered. Maybe we need some kind of understanding of new religions coming into our space, but that's more just to know what it is about, like anything new.
What is overcovered are when violence takes place, when the representatives of different religious groups clash with each other, when there are riots because of one thing or the other. What is undercovered is that there are people who live in peace together, whether it is in Amsterdam, whether it is in Berlin, whether it is in Bangkok, whether it is in Kuala Lumpur. So this is the general trend of the media to highlight the negative aspects of life, which doesn't have to be essentially the case. And particularly when it comes to when we talk about the interfaith dialogue, I think we need to emphasize, if not completely, then at least on balance with the negative aspect, the positive aspects, that there is peace, that there is coexistence of religions. Otherwise, we would be having more disasters by way of social explosions than we have now.
I think mostly it's underreported. For instance, Muslims who live in non-Muslim and secular communities are a whopping amount. It's like 600 million at least. But this is not known. These are Muslims who live in democratic institutions and are happy to live in democratic countries, secular countries, and they live as Muslims. But this is not really known. When you talk about Muslims, the immediate reaction is that these are people who live in autocratic state, who will make sure that women are tied to the home and have no rights, and these are people who tend to violent confrontations in order to get their own way. But that is so not true. Majority of Muslims live happily in democratic states where they are not a majority. Further, when we look at interfaith dimension, I have to again bring it back to the multiculturalism, the pluralism that's being practiced in Asia, especially Southeast Asia. Because when you look at the way we live our lives, even though we have problems like ethnic violence, still, by and large, the way that we manage our problems gives us room to hope that interfaith collaboration really can be the proper formula for overcoming all of the conflicts, the armed conflicts that we now see burdening communities globally.
Well, I think a good example of over-reported stories were the stories around the Muhammad cartoons in the Danish newspaper. A local conflict which was reported in such a global way was not for the good for the dialogue of religions. And there are other, I just remain at the example of the Islam. There are a lot of developments inside Islam which are never reported, because if you have a prejudice that Islam is a violent religion, it has not reached enlightenment now, and something like this, you do not have a look that there are a lot of parts in the Islam who just try to show that it's a non-violent religion, that's a peaceful religion, and even if there are problems with violent Islam, you have to report also the other side and other movements inside this religion which I'm not so violent.
Yeah, I think here in Holland, the main debate now in Holland is between the Dutch society and the Muslims. And there is a sort of over-reporting of the Islam, in my view, because here it's a very tenuous relationship between the so to say the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion, and mostly people mean that a lot of Muslim people in the Netherlands, they try to set back the clock, so to say. So what a lot of Dutch people, they thought, well, we have opened up the society and a lot of things are possible, and now we have a new religion here, and they come again with rules, and they want different position for women or for gays or for people who are open-minded. So and that's in Holland. I think that's the big issue here. It's everything has to do with the debate between the Western so-called open-minded society and the new group of Muslim immigrants.
Well, in a way, probably overcovered are stories about the perception that everybody who is a Muslim shares the views with the most extreme Muslims, and it's hard to publish good stories and to get people receptive to stories who are about lesser extreme views. People, well, this is a cliche in journalism. People are interested in extremes and in bad news, and it's hard to balance that and focus on more optimistic news or more moderate views. But on the whole, you see that we've had this story about Geert Wilders, who is an extreme right populist political figure, and he published a movie on the internet. And people were very frightened that what happened in Denmark would happen here, that would explode, and also in the Far East. And it didn't happen, basically because both the government and Muslim leaders here kept their cool. And I think there are lessons to be learned there.